Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Monday. It's Daryl here. It's bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. If it's 3 a.m. and I'm still wet from the shower, you know I found a story this morning that I feel strongly about. Usually I'm here at 3:30, and if I'm here this early and I'm still wet from the shower, that means I was in a big, I had to get out here quick and make this video, and that's the case this morning. Okay, I still gotta watch what I say for the first 30 seconds or so of this video. This is about the substance that was found in the White House. You've all heard about this, right? The product of Colombia. I'm probably coming up on 30 seconds now. I can start talking about it. And the resulting, I guess the Secret Service came out with their results, or what they're gonna do with the case last week. They're gonna drop it. Possession of this amount of what was found is a misdemeanor. Okay, that's so. We'll leave that right there. Apparently, the Secret Service says there was no fingerprints found on the bags. That the area that it was found in, the cameras couldn't locate, it was in a blind spot, they say. They say that there was up to 500 people in that area, and they can't just go and pull 500 people and question them about this because of people's privacy rights, because of their constitutional rights. You know, if they don't have a reason to, just because the person was in the area. This is interesting. Okay, so the New York Post comes out with this article, and at first I really thought this was a joke. You know, then once I realized it was serious, they don't come out right out and say it, but they are blatantly insinuating that this stuff found was either Joe Biden's or Hunter Biden's. You know, at first I thought they were kidding. You're freaking kidding. You're really suggesting to me that an 80-year-old man has a cocaine problem. Never once in the entire time I used, never once have I ever seen anybody over the age of 60 using cocaine. Why? Because it kills them. Seriously, I'd say 60 to 70% of my friends are gone now that use this drug, or I'm one of the few that's clean. I remember actually seeing pictures when I was in recovery and detox, from doctors' pictures of actual autopsies, where the heart actually, you see this because this affected me. This is one of the reasons I wanted to get clean. I was so determined to get clean. Where the heart was actually blown out, like one of the 4 chambers just blew out. The actual autopsy pictures. Joe Biden is an 80-year-old man, right? I've never seen, once on the show Intervention, I believe there was a woman maybe in her 60s that had a problem with this drug, or with meth, which is very similar. Other than that, never have I seen anybody. I think it's blatantly ridiculous that anybody this age would be regularly using cocaine. Okay, let me talk about Hunter Biden really quick. I could identify with Hunter Biden. I have a lot of respect for Hunter Biden. I'm dying for the comments on that one. He's a lot like me. A lot of the stuff you see him that people are busting on him for, the escapades, the art, everything. We're almost duplicates. We were both involved in it. We both involved in stuff that was embarrassing and shameful back when we were using. We both used art to get clean and sober. Honestly, like I've told you guys, I get the impression that Hunter's clean. I do. I could be wrong, but I really do get the impression that he's clean. Usually, if you're using, and people, somebody like this, the president's son, people are watching like a hawk. And when you use this drug, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to go, inevitably, you're going to go places. You're going to do things. You're going to associate with people, and it's going to come out quick. It's just, you can't hide this use of this drug. Especially, I couldn't hide it, especially the president's son. I just don't believe. I believe he's clean and sober. I do. That's the weakest of my arguments right there. Okay, let me get into this New York Post, what they're saying here. First of all, they're making a big deal because they're saying the press secretary lied. The press secretary said, well, she said it was preposterous, or I think blatantly preposterous, that they're thinking it was one of these two, and I agree with her. And she says they were gone. They weren't even in the White House Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and even Monday. So the New York Post is making a big deal out of this because they say she's lying. They actually left at 6 p.m. Friday. So they were there Friday for a time. So they were lying. Oh my God, really? Really? That's you know. So you're so sure, you know, that's it. And then the stuff with no fingerprints. All right. Yeah, I have no other choice but to believe what, you know. This is the evidence. Is, you know, if somebody was trying to cover up for the Bidens, this is the way. If it was me, this is the way I would do it. If I was a Secret Service and I was trying to cover up for the Bidens, I would actually hire. I would employ somebody that, I know this is despicable, but if I was them, this is what I would do. I would find somebody with a substance abuse problem and pay them to take the fall. You know, like I said, it's not something I would do now. I'm saying if I were them, if I were the Secret Service and I was trying to nefariously cover something up, that's the way I would do it. No user on Earth takes removes their fingerprints from baggies. That's just something addicts do not do. I've never, ever, ever heard this, me doing it or anyone else doing it. That tells me that somebody placed it there. Somebody put it there. Somebody knew that was a blind spot. Somebody familiar with the White House, with the area, the cameras, and you know, no addict would just forget or leave their product there. But it still have time to erase the fingerprints. It makes it, to me, it looks like a setup. Like somebody that was previously in the White House, maybe. Let's see, what else? Oh, so in the New York Post article, they described the drug cocaine as something that impairs judgment and encourages secrecy. So they're looking at Joe Biden. You know, they're saying this is a big deal now because it encourages, you know, yeah, anything you do illegal encourages secret. You know, it encourages secrecy and impairs. You know, so it's the vision of Joe Biden going around. It's insane. It's ridiculous. Yes, of course, it encourages secrecy. I think all use of all the drugs I used encourage secrecy. The use of doing anything illegal usually encourages secrecy. Here's an interesting thing. This has blew my mind. This is what the New York Post said. Now the Secret Service said they couldn't just go question the 500 people that were in the vicinity because of their constitutional rights. And the New York Post says, "Whoa, you tell that to the people that were pulled in by the FBI for just being in the vicinity of the the Capitol on January 6th." Are you freaking kidding me? Really? Are you freaking kidding? The people that are going to jail are on camera. They're recorded on social networks as, you know, photographing their plans, recording their plans, and then these are two totally different things. We're talking about the overthrow of the government, where these people were actually saying they were going to go and hang people, like Pelosi. You know, this is an actual violent crime, one of the worst in the country, where they were going to overthrow the government and take out the people in the Capitol. And you compare that to a misdemeanor, a small one-person use of a substance, which really is a health issue. It's not going to hurt anybody else. It's not going to destroy the White House. So, you know, comparing this, you know, like you know, tell that to the 500, you know, the people that were questioned. You got to seriously. Okay, if this were me, first of all, the fact that it's not in anybody's possession. Back when I was using, you can't have it on your possession. If it's on your possession, it's usually a open and shut case. You're screwed. That's why people I was with would throw it on the ground. You know, whenever I was with dealers, they'd go 5-0 and they'd throw the stuff on the ground. And then if you just get a lawyer, was it in your possession? No, it was on the ground. You can't prove, especially with no fingerprints on it. This, to me, it looks like a setup. It really does. The fact that it was in an obvious place, like in a cubby and not covered up, just placed in a cubby. Every time I put my stuff anywhere, first thing I would think of is I'm going to put it where nobody goes. So, you know, obviously you don't want people stumbling across this. So I'm going to find a place that nobody goes but me. An inconspicuous place like a book or a cereal box that only I use, or a piece of garbage in the freezer. You know, just putting it in a public area. You know, they're really insinuating this is Hunter's and Joe's. So, you know, that they would hide it in a cubbyhole in a public area instead of in the private residency. It makes no sense at all. It's just, if I was using, okay, here's another analogy. They talk about not wanting to question the 500 people that were in the vicinity. Okay, I come on here every day and I tell you guys how I use this drug. Okay, and I live in this apartment, in this building. Now, like I said, I've been clean and sober for 17 years. But let's just say, I'm just using an example here. There's public areas here in the building. There's a library, there's a workout room, there's a meeting room, and all that. Right down the hall from my place, right near my residence. So say there was something similar found in that room. Could they come and question me and blame me for this? No. You know, just because I had previously used this substance, it's no proof. That's the last place. And if I was using, that is the last place. That's a perfect example. You know, it compares like the residency in the White House to this cubicle area. If it was somebody, like I said, I'm not even going to entertain the thoughts that it was Joe Biden. Because the thought that an 80-year-old man is regularly using this a stimulant this incredibly strong is ridiculous. I think you should ask a doctor that. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a law professional, but ask a doctor or a law professional if they've ever come across an 80-year-old user of this drug. And I'm willing to bet they're going to say no. All right, but if it was Hunter, like I said, would I hide it here in my apartment, or would I hide it down in the public area, in the hall, in the library, where everybody is sure to find it? You know, it makes no freaking sense. They're actually insinuating that they think it's Hunter or Joe Biden's cocaine, and on top of that, it's a misdemeanor. On top of that, it's a crime that only hurts the one person. Don't start giving me, well, what if a kid found it? Like, for example, I did a video back a couple weeks ago where I found a dime bag of weed on the ground, and I picked it up, even if it had fingerprints on it. You know, you pick stuff up, even if it had fingerprints on it. It doesn't prove that it was any specific person's, even if the person's fingerprints were on it. The fact that there were no fingerprints on it makes me think without a doubt that it's somebody that intentionally put it there to make to make the Bidens look bad. Without a doubt. Like I said, back when I was using, we throw this stuff on the ground. It has to be in your possession. And especially if you have good lawyers, if it's not in your possession, you can't prove anything. That's why they're not questioning, they're going around picking up. If they did go around and pick up 500 people and take weeks and months to question each person without the chance of even convicting any of them, because they have no proof, they have no fingerprints or no pictures of these people, just question people because they were in the area, these same people would bitch and moan to the ends of the earth that they're wasting taxpayer dollars, which they would be, because it's a freaking misdemeanor and it's a health issue. It's not a public safety issue. It's not they're going to overthrow the government or go hang people like Pelosi. It's a person that has a problem, unless it was set up, which I think, without a doubt, the fact that there's no fingerprints on this tells me it's somebody's trying to frame the Biden, somebody that's familiar with the White House. That's my opinion. The fact that cameras can't record this one area, I'm thinking because it's a private area where people put their private possessions in the cubby holes. It might be similar to like a locker room or a bathroom, where they might just have privacy issues with people taking stuff and their private possessions and putting them in the cubby holes. It might be blocked from camera view. Makes a little sense to me. The fact that the New York Post is actually saying that they think this is Joe Biden's or Hunter Biden's cocaine is stupid. It's just plain freaking stupid from somebody who used the drug for 23 years every day. It makes no freaking sense. All right, have a good Monday.